Welcome to my group, which is Introduction to Malaysian Constitution. The questions that we have chose, which is question number 3, which is about Article 5 until Article 13. There are 5 people in my group, including myself, which is Winsley Jen, Marini Daniel, Shafika Edwin, Norsumi binti Suib, and Richard Will. I will talk about the introduction. The Federal Constitution of Malaysia, which came into force in 1957, is the supreme law of Malaysia, and it contains a lot of 183 articles. It is a written legal document that has been shaped by 2 previous documents, which were the Federation of Malaya Agreement 1984 and Independent Constitution of 1957. What is fundamental liberties? Fundamental liberties are rights and freedom that we have as human beings. Second, it cannot be denied on the basis of skin color. There are 9 articles, which are Article 5, Article 6, Article 7, Article 8, Article 9, Article 10, Article 11, Article 12, and Article 13. I will talk about each of the article and its definition. So, Article 5 is about liberty. Liberty is every person, including citizens and non-citizens, has right to life and liberty. Article 6 is slavery. No person shall be held in slavery. All forms of forced labor are prohibited, but Parliament may, by law, provide for compulsory services. Article 7 is protection against retrospective criminal laws and repeated trial. No person shall be punished for an act or omission which was not punishable by law. For Article 8 is equality. All persons are equal before the law and entitled to the equal protection of the law. Article 9 is prohibition of banishment and freedom of movement. No citizen shall be banished or excluded from the Federation. Article 10 is freedom of speech, assembly, and association. Citizens have the freedom of speech, assembly, and association. Nevertheless, this freedom may be restricted by Parliament for reasons permitted by the Constitution. Article 11 is freedom of religion. No person shall be compelled to pay any tax, the proceeds of which are specially allocated in whole or in part for the purposes of a religion than his own. For Article 12, rights in respect of education. There shall be no discrimination against any citizens on the grounds only of religion, race, descent, or place of birth. And last but not least is Article 30, rights to property. No person shall be deprived of property save in accordance with law.
Article 5. Liberty. Legal provisions are commonly known as the laws, ordinances, rules, regulations, and judgments. Scholars' opinion give the meaning of a person who is well mastered in a certain subject, and he or she give their opinion. Hong Leong Equipment, Sanran Berhad versus Lu Fuk Chuan and Anna. If a person is convicted of murder, he will be sentenced to death. It is not considered as deprivation of his right to life. From my point of view, every person that lives in Malaysia has the liberty for their own. Article 6. Slavery. Legal provisions. No person shall be held in slavery. Scholars' opinion. Based on the opinion from Muhammad Hasbi Zainal, he said that they will prove that the classical view about slavery is still intact. From my point of view, no one should be treated as a slave, whether they are Malaysians or non-Malaysians. This is because every human being should be treated equally.
Article 7. Protection against retrospective criminal law and repeated trial. Case law. Law had been dictated by the Royal Malaysian Police under a warrant issued under the provision of the Legislative Resident Enactment 1933. It has been criticized by legal scholars who have argued that it effectively gave the government free rein to pass unconstitutionally law. One part of the Raja Azlan Shah judgment stated that the individual has certain fundamental right upon which not even the power of the state may encourage. From my point of view, I think that people should not be arrested over something that has been done in few years back. It is not fair for those who have been suffered because of the criminal offense. Article 8. Equality. Beatrice Fernandez versus Malaysian Airlines. The appellant started work as a flight stewardess, salary grade with the first respondent on 14 October 1980. She then got pregnant and failed to resign the company. They have the right to determine her service. There shall be no discrimination in favor of any person on the ground that he is a subject to the rule of any state. Scholar opinion. They agree that the Quran is not a dual-gendered text that has male and female voice in it. Access to the divine discourse is mediated by human and in gendered language, and historical is masculinity bias. From my point of view, people should not have the thought of gender discrimination, especially toward women. Being pregnant during working at an airlines company does not mean that they have to be terminated. Article 9 Prohibition of Banishment and Freedom of Movement. The respondent had applied for an order directed appellant to issue a Malaysian passport to and contended that he had fundamental right to travel abroad and that the refusal of a passport violated this right. Legal provision subject to Clause 3 and to any law relating to the security of the Federation or any part thereof, public order, public health, or the punishment of offenders. Every citizen has the right to move freely. I think that when someone is charged with offenses, they should not have the right to leave the country unless they are clear from the multiple offense on them.
Article 10 Freedom of Speech, Assembly and Association. Universities and University College UUCA. The first case law university students are allowed to hold positions in both political parties and campus organizations. Legal provision. Subject to clause in bracket 2, in bracket 3, and in bracket 4, every citizen has the right to freedom of speech and expression. All citizens have the right to assembly peaceably and without arm. All citizens have the right to form organization. Scholar opinion. They suggest that compared to others fundamental liberties set out in Part 2 of the Constitution, the freedom of speech, assembly, and association are easily abrogated by both the executive and legislative branches. Point of view. From my point of view, I strongly agree that we have a citizen should have the right to have speech. Assembly have the association. This is because this is the only way that we might be heard by Constitution above. Article 11 Freedom of Religion. Halimatu Saidah binti Haji Kamarudin versus Public Service Commission Malaysia and Anor. The first case law, the appellant was dismissed from her position as a clerk in the office of the one of the state legal advice because she refused to comply with a government circular specifying a dress code for civil servant. The appellant wore a black purdah which covered her whole body from head to foot, including her face. Second legal provision, every person has the right to profess and practice his religion and subject to clause in bracket 4 to propagate it. Halimatu Saidah binti Haji Kamarudin versus Public Service Commission Malaysia and Anor. Scholar opinion. The Supreme Court accepted that the expert opinion that Islam did not require or provide in women from wearing purdah. In other words, the court decision appeared to recognize the freedom to practice a religion but reject extremists. Point of view. From my point of view, there is nothing wrong with Muslim women wearing purdah or niqab to the workplace. Every religion has their own after that should have been worn by the gender themselves.
Article 12, the rights in respect of education by Teo Eng Hua versus Kadi of Pasir. For the case law, the appellant discovered that his daughter, who had been missing, had been converted as a Muslim by the first respondent. His daughter was almost 18 years old and a minor under the civil law. The father sought for declaration that he, as the lawful father and guardian, has the right to decide the religion, education, and upbringing of his daughter. Legal provision. In the administration of any educational institution maintained by a public authority and in particular, the admission of pupils or students or the payment of fees. Scholar opinions. The religion of Malaysia shall be Islam. The observance of this principle shall not impose any disability of non-Muslim nationals professing and practicing their own religions and shall not imply the state is not a secular state. My point of view, I think that anyone should have the freedom to choose which religion that they are comfortable with. If they are old enough or mature enough, they have right to choose their own religion. Article 13, the rights to property by Adong bin Kuan and RRS versus Kerajaan Negeri Johor. For the case law, the first indigenous people in Malaysia, the court ruled to allocate the amount of 26.5 million for the plaintiff to sustain their welfare for the next 25 years due to the loss that they suffer because of the land acquisition of income anything above the land. Legal provision. No one shall be deprived of property save in accordance with law. No law shall provide the compulsory acquisition or use of property without adequate compensation. Scholar opinion. In the landmark 1996 Adong case, the High Court ruled that Malaysian jurisprudence recognized native title, thus bringing Malaysia into line with a number of other countries that share an English-derived legal system. From my point of view, I think that people should not misuse their wealth to treat the native, especially when it comes to their landmark. As a conclusion, no one will deny the idealism and facts of human rights as they were to enrich in the Constitution itself. But we must not take it easy that these rights are suitable for all intents and purposes in life.